at me, take a picture, it'll last longer. The mirror on the wall say I'm getting stronger.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Man, it's Friday, and it's time for 647. 6 stories for 7 a.m. This is your quick news fix because there is a famine of truth in our land, and the truth starts now. Okay, take one. An 80-year Harvard study on longevity has been completed. And the number one indicator of living a long life is, here's a clue, it's not Ozempic. That number one indicator is relationships. That is the most important factor in living a long life. Cultivated, loving, and valued connections. Not just a bunch of light-duty friends and acquaintances, but relationships you invest with folks who care about you too. Having someone you can vent to and discuss things with and receive the same leads to a long, fulfilling life. Elon, Big Pharma. It's not robots. It's not drugs. Take two. The fake news word of the day is, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to review with you that the legacy media works on a single mono script that gets handed down by the groupthink of 6 corporate masters. And the way this Psyop works is that they say the same adjectives and verbs in the same structured sentences. And I'm sure you've seen those multi-takes where they go across all the news shows on a day and everyone's saying the same sentence structure. That's a CIA psyop, okay? Whether you get it or not, if you have that television on, even in the back room, morning, evening, you just want to hear a sports score or what the weather is or what the traffic is, but you're hearing this word pattern over and over again in the background. And your brain picks up on that, and it puts an important asterisk next to it and says, must be important, must be the truth. And that's how later on this stuff comes up and you think you know something and you don't. You've been psyoped. So the word of the day yesterday was ambush, as in Trump ambushed the president, the poor president of South Africa. Now we got Grok on the case. Who developed this ambush narrative? Well, Grok believes the composer of this latest attack on Trump is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a favorite of nobody but her parents. Dems are pissed that their fake news cover-up of the genocide of thousands of white farmers in South Africa was exposed by Trump in front of all of the White House media in the Oval Office. You say we can't handle the truth? How about stop hiding the truth and ask 60 Minutes how it's going for them? Jerks. All right, take 3. The Dems launch Project Bullhorn. You can't make it up. Dem donors and Dem strategists are getting ready for the midterms, and they've decided that they need to invest $35 million of donor funds. When you hear that word donor funds, you have to translate. It means your tax money funneled into NGOs, most of the time run by the wives of these crazy leftist judges who are trying to block Trump and everything he does. So it's really your money being used against you, all right? So here's what they're going to spend $35 million on. They want to promote left-leaning YouTube channels and then book the lefty YouTube hosts on bigger and bigger venues like garbagey Jimmy Kimmel. So they're also investing millions in trying to find the lefty Joe Rogan. They watched on the sidelines as Trump went on that show and he just was hitting the podcast, and younger people were just coming in droves because they saw how he interacted with the host and they knew this wasn't a smarmy politician lying to them. This is a guy just telling it like it is and saying what he's going to do. And then what are his folks around him are constantly saying? Promises made, promises kept. So they're going to try to find, with millions of our tax dollars, the lefty Joe Rogan. And this is going to be so much fun to watch because you know how it's going to go. It's just going to be awful. But it reminds me of when I was a kid, and you can't believe this, but people did this. There was a company that advertised that you could learn to ballroom dance at home by yourself, right? So you paid them money, you got a package in the mail, and in the mail was a bunch of numbered big white footprints, and they were peel and stick. You stuck them on the floor, you turned the music on, and then you step on those footprints and you're learning to ballroom dance. You think any John Travoltas were discovered this way? Not one. It was a total hose job. And this Project Bullhorn thing, no, it's not going to work. That's not how, it's not how social media works. They're just ridiculous. All right, take 4. More and more coming out of these meetings about the JFK assassination by our government, specifically the CIA, LBJ, with an assist from Israel. So 4 bullets fired, all from different directions. Okay, what does that make you think? There must have been 4 gunmen. Yeah. So the first bullet, this is graphic, and it needs to be, because you need to know how vile these people are in our government and to what extent they will go to preserve power and their gravy train. So the first bullet shot him through the throat, blew out his trachea, no more breathing. That was a fatal shot. Second bullet, from a different direction, entered his temple, exited the back of his head, blowing out a third of his brain. That was a kill shot. Okay? Third bullet, coming from a third direction, entered the other side of his skull. And then the fourth bullet was intended to kill George Connolly, the governor of Texas, who was also in the convertible. So the bullet entered behind his right shoulder, exited his chest, went through his right wrist, and entered his left thigh. We never hear about Connolly, but he was very popular. He was the second Secretary of the Navy, and then he became governor of Texas. And guess who was getting threatened by that? LBJ, the VP. It's just totally nasty. And here's another little report from it. When JFK's body got to the hospital, by the way, Connolly was almost dead at that point, and for 90 minutes, the doctors at the hospital were locked out of the room that JFK's body was in, and government doctors were in there. What do you think they were doing? Well, there's no eyewitness, but the note from the doctors that did the autopsy said there were no bullet fragments, right? They had been taken out, and there are always bullet fragments. And why would they take the bullet fragments out? Because you can't handle the truth. They don't want you to know there were multiple shots from multiple gunmen from multiple directions. In other words, this was a no-fail mission. So, LBJ, the truth needs to come out about you. Connolly's gone now. We can't talk to him. So, just hunches right now. I hope the truth comes out about this because this is an ugly, ugly chapter in our history. And that's from long ago. Here's one of the probably the ugliest chapter in our history. And it's all coming out in Senate hearings on the COVID-19 vaccine injuries. This was all doctors testifying yesterday. And what the legacy media and the public health officials have hidden till now because you can't handle the truth. You can boil this whole thing down, and it's fascinating to watch. I suggest everybody watch it. Here's the main thing. The largest increase in COVID injuries and deaths came after the vaccine mandate, and it was among the vaccinated. Okay? The largest increase after everybody was told to take this, and it happened among the vaccinated. So everything that was being said on TV was a lie. This is game, set, match. And the Biden administration deliberately hid vaccine harms from the public. Just for instance, one of the things, miscarriage data was so horrific, it silenced a room that's half populated, more than half populated, by big pharma paid for advocates of the vaccine. But they were silenced when they heard that among pregnant women who took the vaccine in the first trimester, miscarriage increased 82%. Okay? This was a genocide by the Brotherhood of Benevolent Billionaires and our government, big pharma paying them all off, okay? And we need some scalps on this. That's all there is to it. And there's a lot of them. And here's the worst part. Go to your doctor now or go to the hospital, and they are still pushing this vaccine. So when they come up to you and try to get you to take it, yell at them. I do. And you know what? They back right off because they know what they're doing is wrong. No more sheep behavior. All right, take 6. Scott Adams. Some of you know who he is. He is the creator of Dilbert, hugely popular cartoon, syndicated in all kinds of newspapers. What you may not know, but you could detect by a lot of his work, is that he's a huge lefty, and he happens to be dying of cancer. Okay, he's also a huge anti-Trump guy and was loud and proud about that since 2015. So he's dying of advanced cancer. He's announced to his fans that he will be gone by the end of the summer. So he gets a call from Florida yesterday. He looks at it, and he's getting tons of calls from people. So he sends it to voicemail. And then an hour later, he goes through his voicemails, and the Florida voicemail message is, "This is your favorite president. I've heard about your health situation, and you can call me back on this number." So he's like dumbfounded. And he doesn't call back because he says, I'm not going to get the guy, and why would I get him anyway? And so he doesn't follow up on it. 5 hours later, phone rings again. It IDs a Florida number, and he's going, well, I don't know what to think of this. I'll pick it up. So he answers the phone, and it's Trump. And Trump says to this guy who's been anti-Trump since 2015. He says, Scott, if there is anything you need or want to try, I want you to call me and I will make it happen. That is classic Trump. You got to love this guy. We got to rally behind him, right? He can't take all the heat, one man. He can't take all the direct fire, one guy. Every single way you can, pray for this guy, knock on doors, tell people the truth about him. We need to, you're not going to get this shot again, okay? This guy's special, and he's doing amazing things, and the media is lying about it. So what are we going to do? We're going to tell our friends about 647. And please, like us, share us, make comments so that we can get better and have a great day at work, a fantastic weekend, and God bless you.
Look at me, take a picture, it'll last longer. The mirror on the wall say I'm getting stronger. Hey yo, the mirror don't lie. Hey yo, the mirror don't lie. Look at me, take a picture, it'll last longer. The mirror on the wall say I'm getting stronger.